Happy New Year. Feliz año, as we say here in Mexico. Un año nuevo, a new year. Lots of joy and happiness. I want to talk about last year, 2021. I thought it was a fantastic year. It was a beautiful year. I was alive 365 days. That's more than other people can say. I wasn't jaunting around the world and taking flights here and there, and I wanted to, and everybody has that option to do that, but that wasn't the option we took. So, well, what all did we do this last year? Well, you followed the blog. I haven't blogged a lot. Some people blog every step they make and everything they do, and that's a good thing too. I just don't want people to get bored. Oh God, when's he gonna leave the house? How many leaves can he rake and how many walls can he paint and all of that. But that's kind of what we did this last year. We did the house sitting thing. That was a good thing. That was fun. And we were lucky. I mean, they weren't crappy house sits. I mean, we stayed in $1 million, $2 million homes and had employees, and all we had to do was just take the dogs for a walk and play with the cats. I mean, what a great thing was that. We didn't charge anything. Sometimes one says, well, we should be charging. Oh, we could. But we had a free place to stay. And during that time, after 9 years of always wanting to look for a house, it gave us the opportunity to do that, and we found the house in San Miguel de Allende. It's a nice house. It's not a big house. It's nothing fancy. I mean, we've already gotten the what do you call it? The brush from some people there. Oh, you moved to San Miguel. Where do you live? And I tell them, Las Brisas, and they're like, oh, that side of town. Well, excuse me. I'm not a rich gringo. Don't have millions of dollars. But it's a nice place. And everybody who reads or listens to this blog or whatever you do with me, you're always invited to come and stay at the house. You just have to let us know in advance. It's not ready yet. Probably won't be ready until summertime, I guess. The house itself is ready. It just doesn't have any furniture. Took a lot of money. Yeah, I don't think people realize, the difference in salaries. And you know we never talk about how much money we don't make, but I mean, you can check online and see what Mexican teachers make. And granted, we had extra incomes and all of that, but it took a lot to put that money together, but it was worth it. But it's not the end of everything. I mean, this trip we took in December in the RV was kind of like a renewal. There were several things, and I don't know if I ever explained them, that kind of stood in the way. The first thing was the SUV, because 3 years ago, when we were crossing the mountains here, and the truck broke down, and I had had that problem with the fan clutch for like ever and ever, and nobody would listen to me. They said, oh, you're imagining things. It's supposed to do that. Well, then the truck broke down. I mean, here we are. I don't know how to measure grades or how to find them on the internet, but we were on an incline so steep that, you know, there was no other way but for a tractor trailer to come and pull us. And that's what happened, you know? So that was a big fear. So finally, I get it fixed. I finally find somebody to listen to me. The dealer here in Monterey, of all people, they found the problem with the fan clutch. And yes, I was right. It was the wrong fan clutch. But I'm going to talk about mechanics. But so that was the big fear, was every time we want to go somewhere, that's the best route to take. Well, I was just afraid that the thing was going to happen again, and it was just, I guess I'm a wuss sometimes when it comes to that. I get spooked and it takes me a while to get over it. And then the thing with COVID, you know, not going anywhere, not doing anything. Although we did, I mean, within reason. And so to get the RV out again, it hadn't been used in almost 2 years. I think we took it out 1 or 2 days or something like that. Getting past that point on the mountains was the breaking point. And we got to the top, and I was like, I came, I saw, and I conquered. And I overcame that terrible fear. And it wasn't a terrible fear, it's just, it would be such a hassle. Can you imagine? And tow trucks, they're not kind when they charge. They don't say, oh, look, here's this poor guy with a travel trailer. And, I mean, they're really going to give it to me. So those were the two big major hurdles. So we got over it and we had a blast. I mean, it was so good to be in the RV again. And I'm sure everybody who reads this blog is either an RVer or has RV'd at one time or whatever. And so the thrill of looking behind you in the mirror and seeing your RV and being in places where other people don't usually go. And like I said, I mean, I've had great travels for work. I've always been well taken care of. You've seen pictures of some of the places I've stayed. I mean, they're 5-star. But I don't like staying in hotels. I don't like putting my head where somebody else does. I mean, let's face it, we all slobber, we all snore, we all sneeze, we do all those things, and they're not bad things. But when you do it with the same pillow for I don't know how many nights a hotel keeps their pillow. And then there's the issue with bed bugs. They're real. I mean, all over the United States, you can check online and see hotels that have bed bugs. You're like, oh God. So being back in the RV is a good thing. Um, Even though we're going to be maintaining two houses, the house in San Miguel de Allende really needs no attention. We have somebody going every week to check on the house and, trim that little piece of yard that takes about 10 minutes with the weed eater, and the neighbors, and we have friends in San Miguel. My friend Cheryl lives 1 block over, and she goes by, and Barbara's there in town, and we have lots of friends. And so that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about that. The house here, it's still a maintenance problem. I mean, it's bigger, the yard, we have the gardener, but people just aren't that reliable anymore. I mean, you say, you come 2 days a week, I'm going to pay you for those 2 days. But while I'm on vacation, do you think you could swing by every day and just take a walk around? I mean, the gardener lives, I can spit to his place where he lives and works. I mean, he gets here in less than 5 minutes walking. But no, I mean, we even offer him extra money for those trips. Never comes, because well, it's not my job. I rake leaves. Okay, well, so that's a problem. Are we ever going to sell this house? I would love to sell this house. If you'd like to buy it, it's yours. But, we have family in Monterey, and Juan, being Mexican, needs to be close to his family. We never get together with them, but it's a psychological thing, and I understand that, and I accept that. And we could buy a smaller house. We've looked. But after you go through all that looking and you come back home and you're like, it's so quiet here. It's kind of like sitting on a gold mine, but the gold mine is so comfortable, you're afraid to get off the rock. So, that's a dilemma. Who knows how that will play out? And, hey, I'm alive, and that's the most important thing. So, where am I going with this? We'll still RV, and we can RV between the two places and go places and do things. And, we've already talked about next year. Are we going to keep the travel trailer? Because I retire next year, and so I get a lump sum in addition to my Mexican pension, kind of like an IRA, but they give you all the money. You have to take all the money out, no tax. And so, do we want to buy another SUV? The RV is a great thing. I mean, there's no 24-foot travel trailers in the world that have two slide outs that I know of. So, if you find one, let me know. So it's roomy, it's easy to take care of, it has absolutely no bells and whistles, no electronics, none of that crud that, always seems to want to break down. It's a box and it has 110 and 12-volt wiring, and and water pipes, and that's about it, you know. So who knows? I kind of like the van thing because then you can go just about anywhere you want. And when we were in San Luis Potosi a couple of years ago, we stayed at El Faro. That's like 30 minutes from the Centro in San Luis Potosi. And we were looking at each other like, if we had a van, we could just park anywhere here in town. We could even go in some underground parking lots, spend the night there, sleep in the van, take a nap, have lunch or whatever. So, like all RVs, they have advantages and disadvantages. And the thing about the van is it's a car, and I guess we need to try one. We keep talking about it, but criminy, to rent a Class B is, I don't know, it's expensive. Especially we thought about Nova Scotia and Canada. That's like $175 a night, So should have taken advantage of the opportunity that our friend Wendy from Kevin and Ruth's Caravan, Wendy simmered. She was a good egg. Different character, but a good egg. She offered once for us to come up to Corpus after her husband passed away, and we could stay in her Class B. Never did it. Should have. Would have been a good thing. But anyway, vans are becoming all the rage now, and even here in Mexico, there's lots of groups of van campers, and it's easy to move around. So what else can I tell you? So in terms of last year, probably the best year I've ever lived. I mean, they just keep getting better and better. I don't have to work anymore. That's a good thing. So I have lots of time to, you know, piss and moan about politics and Mexican politics and COVID and stuff like that. Interesting, on Facebook. You have all these you have all these friends on Facebook. And since I've started my posts about Mexican politics and our current administration, a lot of my quote unquote friends have dropped me off of Facebook. And I noticed recently the same thing has happened with friends who are not vaccinated. They've dropped me off of Facebook. Isn't that odd? I mean, everybody has their own opinion and you're entitled to say and do whatever you want. So, next thing is, I want to say how grateful and how thankful we are to all the people we've ever met RVing. And the list is endless. I'm not going to name any names because it's just too many. And I wouldn't want to forget anybody. But in this video, I'm going to post several pictures and, our good times at Hacienda Contreras, thanks to Barb and Sal. Greatest opportunity of our lives was to be able to take care of that RV park. All the places we've been to, the La Siesta RV Park in San Miguel de Allende, the party to end all parties. That's what we thought. And then we had Hacienda. That was the party to end all parties. It's always fun. We always had a good time. Some people are gone already, and well, that's life. And my family, what can I say about my family? It's too big. And so, because it's too big and we're all spread out, we really there's not a lot of communication anymore. We were supposed to have a reunion last year that didn't work out because of COVID. A lot of my brothers and sisters say, oh, this dysfunctional family, and our father was an abuser, and this and that, and he'd get on his rants and raves. I mean, shit, who wouldn't get on a rant and rave if you had 10 kids? His choice. And he had to work two jobs. I mean, the guy was a mail carrier, and then he was a butcher on weekends. He had to feed 10 kids, send them all to private Catholic schools, and, maintain a house and all of that. Hell, I'd be a grouch too. So anyway, you look at the good and the bad, and you weigh them, and which one's the better of the two. So anyway, my oldest brother's 82, my little brother's 59, and I don't know if the older ones are jealous that we're having so much fun or if I don't know. I mean, there's just not a lot of communication anymore. But anyway, that's how life goes, I guess. They have their families, their grandkids, great grandkids, so they've formed their own circles. So that brings me to fur kids. Yeah, I'm sitting in the same place where I always took a picture of Little Bit. He'd be on my lap. I'm here today because it's so cold. It's 2 degrees outside, centigrade. So that's like 35, 36 degrees. So I've got the heat on. I'm covered up in a blanket. Same blanket, everything. The only thing, I have new chairs, new furniture. Little Bit's not here. And no one, nothing has ever affected me more in my life than a cat, that cat. And who would think that a cat could have such an influence on a human being? But that little shit, or as Barbara called him, little stinker, he was my shadow. I'll remember him forever. The greatest thing on earth. So, you guys think, I'm a ranter and a raver and I complain and I piss and moan, and there's the other side of me, right? The tender heart, the nice guy. And so hopefully we'll see each other down the road. And I hope you guys have a wonderful new year. I don't see the difference between the old year and the new year. It's another day and it's a great day. And I think every day we should think about all the things we can do and all the things we can change and try to make those changes and try to be better and not just wait until once a year and then blow it off after a couple weeks. So, but anyway, everybody has their own way of celebrating, and I hope you had a good year last year. You're going to have a better year this year, and most of all, lots of happiness and joy. And life's short, and I think we've all realized that. We've all lost, at least we have, a lot of people in the last year and a half due to COVID. Last week again, another person. And if you don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. Just be careful. Be kind to those that are vaccinated, and people who are vaccinated, be kind to those that aren't vaccinated. Just kind of leave it at that. Just be careful, have fun, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye.